Alright, hello chess fans, welcome back to 101 Ways to Win or Lose a Game of Chess. I am your host, Onyx Chess, and today we will be looking at the consequences of not accurately assessing, analyzing, understanding, and interpreting the imbalances on the chessboard. In the following position, we see a game where White has done very well for himself. White has played in a way that has netted him a two-pawn advantage. There's nothing pressing in this situation here whatsoever. It's White to move, and we see a very clear contention here between imbalances. We see a bout. We see a versus kind of an issue. And of course those two imbalances are what? Material and king safety. Alright, so while White is up 2 pawns, and while White certainly stands far better here, if not outright winning, White still has liabilities in his position. Okay, and with Black having only one piece gone, and really the rest of his forces ready to exert pressure, alright, things could get a little dicey for the A2, B2, and C2 squares. The king is absolutely under attack right now, and White needs to justify a defense here. Okay. With that said, as far as material goes, what's the old adage? When you're up in material, try to trade off pieces. When you're down in material, try to keep pieces on the board. Now, I believe the chess pros explain this simply as saying consolidating the material. Alright, but the whole statement is consolidating the material advantage. Alright, so that's what we're talking about here. It could be restated, consolidating the material imbalance. Alright, so here's the thing. If White gets the sense in this position that the material imbalance is the chief consideration and the king safety imbalance is secondary, White may get the idea that trading off material is what's best here. Alright, so in other words, if White thinks that he's further ahead than he actually is, then trading off material might not work to his advantage. Alright, further, if trading off material further weakens that king side imbalance, that king safety imbalance, that could be a recipe for disaster. So this is effectively a misinterpretation. This is effectively a misreading, a misunderstanding. Okay? A slack analysis, if you will, on this board position. Alright? That's the thing. So White thinking that White was doing a little better than maybe he was. White understanding he's in a one position felt, let's just then maybe, consolidate the material advantage instead of consolidating the king's safety deficit. Now here's the thing. When we look at that black bishop, what we should see is effectively a useless piece. If our concern was mainly these kinds of ideas with these rooks looking down the A and or B and or C files, particularly in communication with a bishop, particularly in a position where the bishop's threat is opened with any one of the knight moves, So it's black that says when the b pawn is double attacked. Where is black's white bishop involved at all? That's the question. What threat does it pose whatsoever in any variation? Alright? Now white just did not see this. White did not understand this. Okay. That black's white bishop is literally the least of white's concerns here. Why not leave it on the board? Further, it's actually blocking the communication between the rook and the c2 pawn. So it's actually acting as white's defender down the file, if anything. But where can it attack? At all. Ever. It's got no access. I mean, I suppose there's this idea here. Maybe, maybe there's something there, maybe in some variation. I'm not sure. Alright, but it's not very dangerous. That might be more of a ghost than a threat. Okay. Further, white's move here, if understood properly, would be not to, and this bishop here, the white bishop, is one of white's chief defenders. Okay. Alright, now had that bishop come back here. Okay, so we trade off the bishop, but then that's a nice, I think that's a fun little pawn cluster that black could try and prove is weak. I don't think that would be real weak at all. Alright, I think that might almost in some variations be a little better than what we're dealing with here now. Okay. But nonetheless, it just makes a lot more theoretical and fundamental sense to leave this defender on the board, to block shots down the file on my king, and white would have nothing to worry about at all. Okay. As it played out, white did the wrong thing and traded the bishop. And the rest is curtains. The rest is history. White falls into a little bit of a passivity feeling at this point, that there is some semblance of, not a lot of threats, in the position against him, but that was just a gross underestimation. Okay. And after this, knight now joins the attack. White's now really appreciating the problems in the situation, where, everything's just hanging in. There's tactical shots and there's pins and all kinds of problems in white's position. And again, like, to be too harsh on white or not, may as well finish the game. Black joins the defense, and there's the tactical shot there where the pawn is pinned. Okay. Alright. Not to be super harsh on white, it does look fairly well defended. When we start looking at, what white's, covering, it seems like, white has enough in the area to be at least somewhat defensive. But no, this is completely fatal. And this is the kinds of things that happen when we play on, the wrong theme, when we follow the wrong storyline, when we satiate the inappropriate imbalance. So we really do, want to do a better job of measuring up the different imbalances in the position, where we can understand exactly what the position needs. This won't be a long one. It's just a quick reminder, to take off those microscopic glasses and step back with that macroscopic interpretation and understanding, and really deal with the situation for real, instead of You know, maybe letting little slogans that you've heard smart people say in the past dictate how you play. You need to play your own moves. And don't get me wrong, it's certainly the case that in the next game it'll be the exact opposite. If you might misvalue or misinterpret a position where you may say, hey, the material, okay, isn't the biggest deal here to focus on. Let me make a plan on my king's safety. And it could be the exact opposite, where you should have had been focusing on the material, and that the material was the right answer, and you should have gone with the theme and the narrative of understanding that the material imbalance was the main feature of that position. All right, so this is not to say, just to be clear, king safety over material. No, that very much depends on the position. Like I say, the imbalances aren't to be considered one above the other. They are all side by side. They will all win you games, and they will all lose you game. It's just a matter of really focusing and understanding which one is primary. Okay, all right, real simple. This has been Onyx Chess. Thank you for watching. May you see the board well, and may your pieces find the best squares.